Hey, you never want to miss out on a thing. That is why you subscribe to the Lakers Report, because when breaking news happens, we've got you covered, covering the Lakers in all angles. That's why you subscribe. So another edition of the Lakers Report starts right now. Coming up on today's show, we've got a lot to talk about as it relates to the purple and gold, and I'm going to need some help not hitting the panic button. We're going to discuss whether or not it is time to panic in Los Angeles, and maybe some potential trades that could help this team take a step forward, because obviously right now things are tough. And last but certainly not least, we'll get into some specifics thanks to a recent article from Bleacher Report that has a couple of noteworthy names that may be linked to the Lakers, which could certainly help out. Because when you consider what this team has been going through as of late, it hasn't been pretty. 3-8 in their last 11 games. Not great, not great. In fact, not very good at all. 21st ranked offense in that stretch with the 20th ranked defense. Not a recipe for success. And when you put it all together, the season ended right now, this Lakers team is not where you want to be as the 10th seed in the Western Conference. And obviously, I know they're a better basketball team than that. You know they're a better basketball team than that. And it's time for Darvin Ham and the rest of the coaching staff to start figuring out some things as it relates to what the best rotation is. How can this team start playing better ball, and so on and so forth. So I'm asking you, what say you? What do you attribute to the poor performance in the last 11 games? Maybe not enough ball movement, lack of defense, anything in between. This Lakers team has not shown the ability to win meaningful games in their last 11, obviously 3-8. They've also really struggled at both ends of the floor, as the 21st ranked offense would suggest, as well as the 20th ranked defense in that 11-game stretch. So chalk it all up to what? Let me know in the comments. Now, LeBron James spoke on the, I want to call it a losing streak, but obviously just the rough stretch on the Lakers' struggles right now. He said, I guess I got a small sample size of what we can be when we're whole. I have more of a larger pie of what we look like when we're not. So that's the discouraging part right there. But no excuse, because everybody goes through injuries and everyone goes through travel and things of that nature. This league is built on that. So we just have to figure it out. And that's kind of where I'm at with this Lakers team right now. I don't want to hear the injury excuse and the travel and the back-to-backs and everything else that seems to be attributed to NBA teams when they're not playing up to their potential. I just want some accountability. And more importantly than that, I want to see it turn around. I know you want that as well, because as we've discussed, this team just isn't playing their best basketball, and things need to change. The rotation still, in my opinion, hasn't been figured out. There's obviously been some injuries that have contributed to the poor play. At the end of the day, you got to figure it out, just as LeBron said, and figure out ways to start playing better basketball. So I ask you, where are you at as far as your panic level? Is it time to, hey, This is crisis mode. We've got a crisis on our hands. I'm at a 10, or are you saying relax? 17-17, 500, plenty of season left. Leave it more closer to a 1. Let me know in the comments. Scale it 1 through 10. Because you might sound like I'm at a 10, and I maybe take a step back a little bit and say I'm right in the middle at a 5. I am moderately concerned that maybe this team isn't as good as we had hoped, or perhaps that we had thought, despite the notable names on the roster, as well as the potential of what this team can be. And I know the in-season tournament, say what you will about it, and at this point it's kind of ancient history, but we know it's out there. We saw what this team is capable based on the way they played in the in-season tournament. And again, chalk it up to whatever you may. There is no doubt about it. This team has struggled over recent games. So that said, I'm moderately concerned right at a 5. Now, coming up, we'll talk about maybe some ways to improve the roster with some trade rumors and everything else that is being discussed around the association. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's presenting sponsor. Would not be possible to bring you the Lakers Report without the best daily fantasy platform out there. That is Prize Picks. And you know by now where the magic happens. It's at prizepicks.com/CLNS. And you probably know how to play anyways, but you simply pick more or less on a player's projected stat line. Usually I'm giving you some Lakers picks, but how about with the return of Joel Embiid? Let's get wild in that 76ers Chicago Bulls game. I think he's going to come out with maybe a point to prove, and I'm going more on 34.5 points for Alex Caruso, one of the guys we're going to talk about in just a minute here. I'll pick more on his projected point total, 11.5. And Andre Drummond missed me with the 12 points projected. I'll take the less there. So that's how it works. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. And because we love you and we care about you, we've got a $100 deposit match, up to a $100 deposit match waiting for you when you use that code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS. So don't wait. We'll put that link in the comments and the description of today's video as well. But daily fantasy done the right way. Prize Picks, and that's at prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, next, evaluating some potential trades for the Los Angeles Lakers. Bleacher Report had an article identifying some of the top targets that the Lakers are kind of rumored to be on the move in pursuit of. We start with one you've heard one time. No, I'm going to sound like LeBron. Not one, not two. We've heard this 1,000 times. Zach LaVine. And it's because he adds such a exciting and new dynamic with the ability to score the basketball in an efficient manner. And I feel like I'm going back and forth on this because sometimes I really think that is our guy. Go get Zach LaVine. And other times I think, it's all sizzle, no steak. But 21 points per game, he's known as a scorer. Lacks a little bit defensively, but the efficiency there, behind the long line, 33%. Field goal percentage overall at 44%. He's a guy that would obviously make a splash around the association. But there are some concerns, as we've discussed at length and time again, but it's worth reiterating. The injury is a part of the equation, or the lingering injury issues, I should say, as well as that massive contract. So this is the old swing for the fences, home run trade, make a big splash, that sort of thing, and make of it what you will. Now, another one that's very interesting from the Windy City and the Chicago Bulls, Alex Caruso. Obviously a familiar face, a good friend of ours, former Laker legend Alex Caruso. And Chicago has been pretty transparent about not wanting to move Alex Caruso. So that becomes a big part of the equation as well. But a guy that adds so much to any lineup that he's in, 10 points per game, 45% from three-point line, and overall field goal percentage above 50%, really impressive. But as I mentioned, the Bulls have said, no, he's not going anywhere. However, if the Lakers front office could find a way to make something happen, I wouldn't put it past him, and that would be a guy to keep your eye on. Maybe, they make him an offer you can't refuse, something like that. Now, lastly, and this one might surprise you, but Bojan Bogdanovic. Now, he's been hurt earlier this season, and he plays in the Motor City, a.k.a. the home of the NBA's longest losing streak. So not a lot of people talking about the Pistons for the right reasons. It's only because they've lost so many games. But make no mistake about it, Bojan Bogdanovic is a guy that can fill it up and get you points and get you buckets, nearly 20 points per game. And again, this is a season he's only played 14 games. Go back to last year, and he was one of the better players on that Pistons team, which, again, it's the Pistons, so make of it what you will. But Bojan Bogdanovic is a scorer that can really provide that third scoring option that this Lakers team is in desperate need of. So those are your three that have been linked to the Los Angeles Lakers, and I need you to help me out and pick one right now in the comments. Who do you want the Lakers to trade for? If it's Zach LaVine, it's real simple. Throw me a ZA in the comments. If it's our guy, Alex Caruso, bring him back to LA, huh? Type AC. Or if you want to get wild, how about BB for Bojan Bogdanovic? Now, as I often do, I've worked together a little trade proposal that I'd love your opinion on. Maybe it's just straight up. Bojan Bogdanovic for D'Angelo Russell. The Lakers have been wanting to unload D'Angelo Russell, and Bojan Bogdanovic may be a kind of under-the-radar guy to add to the scoring potential of this Lakers offense. And in Detroit, if a team is willing to make a trade with you, what do you got to lose? I mean, the Pistons, gosh, what was the losing streak? 28 games. Give them D'Angelo Russell, and maybe they'll be happy as they try to rebuild because that roster is, let me think of a word that's not totally disrespectful other than it's terrible. It is completely terrible. So maybe the addition of D'Angelo Russell could be something that they're interested in. Let me know what you think of the trade proposal in the comments. Give me a grade A, B, C, D, or F if it's the worst one you've ever seen. Now, I want to thank everybody for tuning into this edition of a Lakers Report. It's always a pleasure to be on the air with you, talking purple and gold basketball. And, hey, maybe if some Lakers players watch this, they'll think, we got to turn it around and play better basketball. But, no, in all seriousness, thank you so much for tuning in. Reminder to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. We want to continue to build that Lakers community, and we can't do it without you. So, subscribe to the channel for Lakers content from all angles. Breaking news, trade rumors, this, that, and the other. Shout out to producer Jack on the ones and twos. Couldn't do it without him. And thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Lakers Report.